YouTube, how you guys doing today? Alright, today I'm really excited because we begin our journey into programming for newbies. And I'm really excited about this series because I'm very confident that by the time we finish with this series, you would have gained a lot out of it. So I would encourage you not to get lazy and follow through from the beginning to end. Okay, so what we are going to start with today is just look at what computer programming is and what a computer program is. So what is a computer program? Or what's computer programming? Essentially, it's just the art or the process of analyzing, designing, testing, debugging, and maintaining your source code. Okay, I misspelled maintaining here. Maintaining. Alright, there we go. I can't even spell. Anyway, so what's analyzing about? So when you start or begin to think of designing an application, the first step is to analyze what your application is going to be about and what information that you're going to need in this application you're thinking about. So you gather all these information, and in some situations, if you're developing an application for a client or for a big company or a small business or whatever it might be, you would actually have to sit down with the client and go through everything that the application is going to need, all the information that you're going to need. If you're going to be storing information in the database, you're going to need all that information. Or if you're going to be saving information in XML files or whatever it might be, you need to know every detail of what you will need to get the application started. So that's the analyzing phase of the designing process. Now when you finish with that, that's the time you move on to the designing phase, and that's the time that you put together all the source code and all the building phase of the application itself and making it, getting it up and running. So the designing process is very essential as well as the analyzing phase of the process. Now when you're finished with designing, you don't just deploy the application. Deployment just means that you make the application available either to the client or to the public to use, or whoever is going to be the end user of your application. So when you're done with designing, you have to test the application before you deploy the application. And in the testing phase, all you're trying to do is to make sure that the application works according to plan. So if in the process of testing you encounter certain flaws, this is where debugging ties into that phase. So you test in your application and you find errors, you debug the application, you figure out where the errors are, you fix the errors and make sure that the application is error-free before you finally deploy it or make it available to the end user. That doesn't end there. You still have to maintain the code. If in the future the clients need some additional features in the application, chances are they will contact you or your team members or whoever was involved. Even if you are not on the team anymore, somebody needs to be contacted to get that feature incorporated in the application. Or if something goes wrong whilst using the application, somebody needs to be maintaining the code. And this is a lifelong process that keeps going as long as the application is in use. And these steps here is what makes a computer program or an application what they are. So all these steps are used to design a computer program. Okay? So now let's look at what a computer program is. So what is a computer program? A computer program is just a sequence, if I can spell sequence of instructions given to a computer to execute. Okay? That's all a computer program is. You write some code in a test file using a text editor, and then you give that instruction to a computer to execute. How does this happen? A computer doesn't understand English, as we all know, but it understands its own native language. And the native language that the computer understands using a Java programming environment will take your source file or the code that you've written in the text editor and compile it into a machine understandable code for the computer to execute. So in Java, these instructions will be compiled into something known as bytecode. So the bytecode is what get executed by the computer, not the file that you wrote itself. Understanding that is really important because that makes it possible to take just the bytecode, also sometimes known as the class file, and deploy it to different operating systems without exposing your source files. And the operating system, if it's Java enabled, can still execute your program. So that's what a computer program is. You just instruct a computer what to do, and then it takes it from there. So in the next lesson, we are going to look at our first computer program in Java, and I will explain everything in that example that makes up a computer program or a complete Java computer program. So thank you for watching this, and I'll see you soon. All right, bye.